When I was 6 years old, my mom told me there was only one rule in our house. Never go into the basement. She never explained why. She just said it in a way that made it sound important. The strange thing is, I was a good kid. I followed rules. But one afternoon, I heard a noise coming from down there. A soft whining sound, like a puppy. And every kid knows one thing. If there's a puppy somewhere in your house, you have to find it. So I opened the basement door, and that's when everything in my childhood stopped making sense. When you're a kid, there are certain rules that adults give you that you never question. Don't talk to strangers. Don't play in the street. And in my house, don't go into the basement. My mom wasn't a strict person. In fact, she was usually very gentle. She didn't yell. She didn't punish me much. But whenever the basement door came up, something about her face changed. She'd say it in the same way every time. "Sweetie, never go into the basement. Ever." Then she would quickly change the subject. The basement door was in the hallway near the kitchen. It was an old wooden door with chipped paint. And it always stayed closed. Always. Sometimes when my mom walked past it, she would glance at the handle for a second before continuing on. I noticed that. Kids notice strange things adults don't think about. At night, I sometimes heard noises coming from behind that door. Quiet sounds, scratching, soft whining, sometimes a faint thumping noise. But every time I asked my mom about it, she would smile and say the same thing. "Just the pipes, honey." But pipes don't sound like puppies. One afternoon, my mom left the house to pick up groceries. Before she left, she knelt down next to me and reminded me again, "Stay in the living room and watch TV, okay?" I nodded. Then she paused for a moment and added something else. "And remember, don't go near the basement." Then she left. For about 20 minutes, everything was normal. Cartoons played on the television. Sunlight poured through the living room windows. The house felt quiet, peaceful. Then I heard it. A small sound drifting down the hallway. A whimper. Soft, sad, almost like a tiny dog crying. I muted the TV. The house went completely silent. Then I heard it again. My heart jumped with excitement. A puppy! There had to be a puppy down there. Maybe my mom got one and wanted to surprise me. I walked slowly down the hallway. The basement door stood at the end, closed, just like always. But the sound was definitely coming from behind it. I remember standing there for a moment, thinking about the rule. Never go into the basement. But rules are confusing when you're 6 years old. Because sometimes adults break them too. And if there was a puppy down there, it might be scared. So I grabbed the doorknob. It felt cold. I slowly turned it. The door creaked open. The smell hit me first. A damp, sour smell like wet wood and old dirt. The basement stairs disappeared into darkness. The light from the hallway barely reached halfway down. Then I heard the noise again, louder this time. But something about it sounded strange. It didn't sound exactly like a dog anymore. It sounded wrong. Still, curiosity pushed me forward. I stepped down onto the first stair, then the second. The wooden steps creaked quietly under my feet. "Puppy," I whispered. The whining stopped for a moment. Then something shifted in the darkness below. My eyes slowly adjusted to the dim light, and that's when I saw it. Or him. A boy sat on the basement floor. He looked about my age, maybe a little older. His hair was messy, his clothes were dirty, and his head was tilted strangely to the side. At first I thought he was playing some kind of game because he was crawling around on the floor, moving slowly, making that whining sound. Then I noticed something that didn't make sense. He wasn't crawling, not really, because where his hands should have been, there was nothing, and where his feet should have been, there was nothing either. Just small wrapped stumps pressed against the floor. The boy looked up at me. His eyes were wide, and when he opened his mouth, the whining sound came out again, just like a puppy. Before I could move, before I could even understand what I was seeing, something grabbed my arm. Hard. My mom. She pulled me back up the stairs so fast I nearly fell. "What did I tell you?" she shouted. Her voice was louder than I had ever heard before. I started crying immediately. Mom never yelled. Ever. She slammed the basement door shut, locked it. Then she knelt down in front of me, her face suddenly calm again, almost like nothing had happened. "I told you never to go down there," she said softly. I sniffed and nodded. She hugged me tightly. Then she went into the kitchen and brought me a cookie. Chocolate chip, my favorite. That made me feel a little better. Kids forget things quickly when cookies are involved. So I didn't ask her why the boy in the basement was making noises like a puppy. And I didn't ask her why he had no hands or feet. But years later, when I was old enough to understand things, I realized something far worse. The boy I saw that day wasn't the first one. And judging by the sounds that sometimes came from the basement, he probably wasn't the last. Sometimes, late at night when I visit my mother, I still hear that whining sound coming from behind the basement door. And I wonder if she's keeping another puppy down there.